Good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome to another trading session. Well, it is Tuesday. Yeah, I had to confirm. It is Tuesday, and I hope you're doing well. It's still the start of the week, the beginning of the week, so I hope you're not rushing anything, and I hope that you're not trying to force anything into an NFP week like this one. Keep in mind that we will have NFP on this Friday. Talking about news, we will have 10 a.m. news as well here. So I will mark the 10 a.m. news as well. Well, if you heard something just like a knock or something like that, it's some construction that's going on here next to my house. So I'm sorry about that, but I can't do nothing about it. So 950, 1010 macro. We will probably wait for it. And yeah, let's get straight into what I'm expecting for today's price action. Well, right now, price is trying to get out of a 4 hour bearish fair value gap. Yesterday, we kind of rejected the midpoint of it. As you can see here, we have a new week opening gap here right at the bottom of the 4 hour fair value gap, and our low hanging fruit would be this regular trading hour session buy side liquidity, which has some confluence with London highs and eventually with Asia highs as well. So honestly, I'm bullish for another touch on the 4 hour bearish fair value gap. But first of all, I would like to see some sell side being purged, just like this regular trading hour session sell side, or eventually London lows would be eventually great to see them being purged. Notice that we have a bullish 1 hour fair value gap here down below as well. So these yellow lines here are the quadrants of the week, the daily wick from yesterday's price action. As you can see here, just let me put this watermark rate. There we are. Here, as you can see here, price just came for 25% of it, and it's trying to stay around the base of that wick. So we have our open already, the opening candle right here at 9:30. Just let me grab some water. And right now, looking into NQ. Well, looking into NQ seems like a bit heavy right here at the open. I'm expecting it to take out some sort of buy of sell side liquidity. Sorry. So I believe it will try to get these lows from 8 a.m. These ones right here, and eventually coming a bit lower, which would be London lows. That would be nice as well, but I'm not sure about these London lows here, honestly. I would like to see them purged, but let's see. So switching to the regular trading hour, we can see that the opening offered us some sort of a opening range gap, a small one, but still an opening range gap. And right now price is trying to head to this regular trading hour session sell side liquidity. So what I'm expecting here and what I would like to see is price coming down here, taking out this sell side liquidity, probably coming a little bit lower, taking out London lows, and eventually inside the macro in between 950 to 1010, a formation of something like this, not like this, but just like this, something like that. So we left these highs behind as well. Let me just check what YM is doing here. Yeah, YM is the strongest, NQ the weakest, and yes, it's in between them. So at this point, YM already took all this buy side liquidity here on regular trading hours as well. Let me just check here. Regular trading hours. Yeah, we still have some. We still have some more to take out. But definitely the strongest pair today. NQ the weakest, and ES is in the middle of them. So let's just wait and see what this will offer us. So far, we have the first presented fair value gap right here. So first presented one. Yeah, this one doesn't count because it's a 929 fair value gap. So this is the first presented fair value gap of the session. 9:30 opening, 8:30 open. So let's see if we will have some sort of movement to the downside, taking out relative regular trading hour session, sell side liquidity. So price touching the first presented one here. Let me just check NQ. Yeah, NQ with a retest on the first presented fair value gap as well. And price is now displacing. So at this point, NQ already took London lows. NQ already took London lows. So if we are still bullish, I believe something can be presented in some sort of a inversion type of move. So let's wait and see if price really wants to come to the upside. I'm not shorting this. It's not a movement that I would like to participate in because I believe we are manipulating and not distributing to the downside. But it is okay if my bias is wrong. Let me check YM just to see if it's starting to fail, but it isn't, as you can see here. YM is the strongest asset of them. Heavy open here on NQ. Still displacing to the downside here. On the 15-minute, you can see a big red candle. Here on AS, we are kind of, I believe we are kind of zoomed in, right? Yeah, not that much. I will zoom out a little bit. So I'm really interested here on this regular trading session, sell side liquidity here. It would be nice if we come to the London low as well, but it's kind of acceptable for price to just take out the regular trading session sell side liquidity. In that case, we would form some sort of a SMT. So at this point, we have a big SMT here in between ES and NQ. I'll touch here on the first presented fair value gap. Yeah, ES is not able to take any sort of liquidity. We are still in between the opening range and still in between buy side liquidity and sell side liquidity from the regular trading hour session. Well, at this point, NQ already took sell side liquidity. If you want to see it on a 1 minute, as you can see, so previous day low is still intact here. We still have a little bit of margin to go to the downside, but London lows are purged. Regular trading session sell side liquidity is kind of purged. The opening range gap from yesterday's price action is closed. So the only thing that we have left here on NQ is the previous day low. So we are 30 handles away from it. So we can eventually expect another drop to take out previous day low. But ES already took that previous day low. So it might not need to go there. So let me switch to ES once again. And ES is starting to react here positively. Bullish reaction here. So it's trying to invert the first presented fair value gap here. So ES is trying to get support at 9:30 open. It kind of came for the volume imbalance here and is now trying to displace higher. We have a news driver in 15 minutes and we are entering the macro in about 6 minutes. Price is now displacing to the upside kind of quickly. So this line here, the orange line that you see here is the bottom of the daily wick, the previous daily wick. Yeah. At this point, we will have another. I'm sorry, guys, but I needed to cough. Yeah, at this point, we will have some sort of SMT here at these highs. So SMT at the lows, SMT at the highs. So nothing that really liking. Let me just check the Dow once again. So the Dow already took buy side liquidity on the regular trading session. And let's see if now it starts to become weaker. It seems like it. Yeah, so notice how price just took out the 930 high on ES, but was not able to do so on NQ. So whenever we have some sort of a double SMT, I know this one is way smaller, but yeah, it's still an SMT. Price is not displacing lower. And ES is still struggling with it. Yeah, this is a 5 handle candle, so it's kind of a big candle here on ES. So price is trying to lose support here on 830 open. At this point, the first presented fair value gap is a reclaimed fair value gap. So you reclaim fair value gaps, they usually tend to be strong fair value gaps. So let's see if price really comes to our sell side liquidity point that was what we were expecting just from the beginning. Let me take another look here on YM. Yeah, YM managed to close below. But honestly, we are still inside this range, so it's kind of an ugly range for me. 950 macro is in place. I'm not convinced to short this since we have these relative equal highs here on the upside. I'm not convinced right now. And on ES, we still have buy side liquidity here on the regular trading session. So that's why I'm not convinced to short this. But on the other hand, I'm expecting price to come eventually to the regular trading session sell side liquidity, eventually to London lows and invert somewhere around here. Maybe the 10 a.m. news will give us some fuel just to project price to this area. Let me just check one thing here. So far, this one is the manipulation lag. Quite a big lag here. Let me just see how price is behaving here. Mm. Yeah, we have some confluences here with -2 and -2.5 standard deviation. But yeah, it's kind of too soon. There we go. Some nice displacement here. Let me just check YM here as well. Yeah, but YM is not, it didn't gave up. It's still managing to hold price here on the upside. Meanwhile, NQ is making another low, a new low. So NQ is definitely the weakest pair. Now let's see. As soon as we take this regular trading hour session, sell side liquidity, or eventually London lows, if we can manage to invert this and start to take everybody who's trying to sell. Yeah, nice reaction here. See, that's why I was not interested in selling this. Well, at this point, I believe we MNQ, so micro Nasdaq. Yeah, we hit previous day low, just like anticipated on NQ. And now I would like to see some sort of inversion since we are inside a macro as well. But right now we have about 3 minutes before the news driver, so I will wait for the news driver to happen. Now we'll not engage in anything before the news driver. It is I believe it's an orange folder news, but yeah, so far. So now I believe this is the manipulation leg here. Nice reaction from price. -1 has some confluence with midnight open. Let me just check the Dow once again. Yeah, the Dow is still trying to push. Meanwhile, NQ is on the upside as well. But yeah, I still have to wait for the news driver. We kind of felt short here. We just took out the pre-market lows. So this is some sort of a minor sell side point. Let me just push this to the side. So 6708. Yeah, I prefer it this way. Yeah, nice reaction here. Stronger reaction on ES. Taking out all this buy side liquidity here. This is the 10 a.m. candle news. So far, no retracement here. Let's see if we will have some sort of a retracement here, especially to the first presented fair value gap. But things are a bit tricky right now because we took out pre-market highs, pre-market lows. We left RTH sell side liquidity. We still have RTH buy side liquidity. Kind of a tricky spot here. Yeah, yes, not giving us any chance to interact here. Still waiting. Just to yeah, no entry so far. So the read was kind of fine, honestly, since we managed to predict that we would have some sort of a macro inversion here in between 950 to 1010. But honestly, I would have liked to see price coming down a little bit eventually to sell side liquidity here, and it never came for that sell side liquidity. So at this point, price is near midnight open. Price just displacing to the downside here. Kind of a heavy displacement. Let's see if the first presented fair value gap will hold, or if it will go once again to the downside, since we left some sell side liquidity here on ES. Yeah, heavy displacement here. Let me take a glimpse here at YM losing some steam as well. This is interesting. So at this point, I believe we are at the golden. Yeah, this is the golden area for OT levels. But this honestly is a hard and harsh opening. If you look into the 15 minutes, the 15-minute looks kind of ugly on ES. So quite like yesterday's opening. Once again, ES is traveling to the downside just because it took these highs here, which are the pre-open highs. Let me just check if YM is failing or supporting right now. Yeah, but it's kind of ugly. We have this inversion right here and a breaker as well. So I presume YM will eventually fall. So if YM will eventually fall, ES and Q, yeah, they will fall as well, because YM is the strongest one and it kind of failed. I don't believe this OTE will hold here. We almost hit midnight open, but we kind of stopped here right before hitting midnight open. Let me just check the 3 minutes here. Yeah, I don't see this holding, honestly. Just another messy start here. Just another messy opening here on ES. So at this point, I will take this out. Doesn't make sense. Price retesting 830 open here. But it feels like it's kind of failing. See, 830 failing so far. So this volume balance got retested as well. Let me take another glimpse here. MNQ. Yeah. We formed these relative equal highs here right at the open. So another touch here at 830. Let me just check if YM just recovered or we have a breaker here on YM. Bearish breaker. So I want to see if this will hold or not. if it makes something just like this, or if it will just continue to the upside, since this one is the strongest. But yeah, a messy start here, honestly. Kind of ugly. Yeah. Price reaching once again for the first presented fair value gap here on ES. It came for the last OT level, just to the tick. And now let's see if this retest here on the first presented fair value gap will be just a retest, or if it will just grind higher. Notice that we have some relative equal highs here, so shorting this is always dangerous whenever you have relative equal highs. We still have buy side liquidity to take out from the regular trading session. We still have sell side liquidity as well. Yeah. Very ugly price action here since the open. Yeah, guys, this is not what I like to see, honestly. Very hard price action to read. But yeah, we still have liquidity here. I believe we are just building more liquidity. A lot of people is trying to sell on the retest of this leg here, probably. But it would have been too easy for a continuation lower. So I believe we will take this high. We'll revisit midnight open, probably revisit buy side liquidity here. Because at this point, if we don't do that, well, I don't know, honestly. Let me just check once again the Dow. Yeah, we kind of violated the breaker. So the bearish scenario on the strongest pair kind of gets invalidated. Still watching. Still watching and hoping for something cleaner to happen. This really is an ugly price action open. not that clean. Let me just check NQ here. Well, NQ, since NQ is the weakest, I wouldn't mind to see it coming for another low here. But I'm not sure about ES, honestly. See, ES doesn't seem it wants another low. It seems like from here, we will head to the upside, despite not taking any sort of liquidity that I would like to see taken out. But at this point, the bearish scenario is probably out of question. YM is reclaiming this bullish fair value gap here, probably. I will give it some more minutes. I'm not liking how price is developing since the open, so it's just accumulating, not giving us anything decent to work with. So I will not rush into anything. I will just wait. And I believe waiting is the most important thing that you can do as a trader. If you don't wait for your setup or for cleaner price action, and if you dive into any sort of movement or any sort of displacement or volatility, or you name it, I believe your account will have a shorter life. So I kind of liking how price is trying to support here on the idea of the first presented fair value gap and 9:30 open, or another run to the upside, because we still have midnight open here, which always acts as a magnet on price. We have the bottom here of the previous daily wick here as well, and we have these regular trading hour buy side liquidity as well. But in order to interact with this, I really needed to see some sort of sell side liquidity on ES to be purged. I don't feel comfortable longing this, knowing that we still have London lows, we still have the sell side liquidity as well. I'm not comfortable longing this because price can eventually come to midnight open, or eventually head a bit higher here and then reach for this liquidity. So even if price comes here to this buy side liquidity point, I will let it do its job and then eventually access it whenever it reaches here. But yeah, I'm not convinced yet about anything. Let me just check YM once again. Yeah, YM is this one is the strongest pair, but it's kind of facing some difficulties here. And on the regular trading hour session, we still have this buy side liquidity here. Yeah. To take out. So it might drag ES to the upside as well. But on the other hand, it seems like it's weakening. So another move low. Kind of hard to read this price action, honestly. Yeah, we kind of inverted this one here. Let me just check these highs. Yeah, we have some sort of an SMT here in between ES and NQ. But I don't think this is enough. Let's just see. Yeah, YM came back to this fair value gap here. It's starting to feel weak. So it might drag ES to the downside as well. But we have 830 open here, and price is now inside of the first presented fair value gap. So let's see if it wants to fall from here. This point I will mark the next macro, which is the 1050 to 1110, just to see if something happens until there. So price is now stuck inside, or in between, I mean, in between 930 open and 830 open. If you look into NQ, it seems like a trend line liquidity is being formed on the upside. But I don't know. Well, so far I'm on the sidelines. not doing anything sometimes is the best option. And as a trader, you have to know when to stay out of it. See, price is stuck in between the 9:30 open and the 8:30 open. Whenever this happens, you should stay away from it, even knowing that price will probably go into the direction that you're anticipating. But yeah, at this point I need to see some form of liquidity being purged, and nothing has been purged on ES especially. Let me just check YM once again. And now we have YM taking a dump here, and ES and NQ doing the opposite, which is quite funny. So the stronger sister is now showing some signs of weakness, but these ones are just holding, which is interesting. Boom, 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 boom. So back and forth action here, and yes, displacing to the downside here. What time is it? It's 10:33. Let me just check here about. I heard that Trump will probably talk Forex calendar. Yeah, President Trump speaks at 11. So it's 10:34. And maybe everybody's waiting for the speech, Trump's speech. So if this is true, we will have no action until 11. Once again, displacement without taking any sort of sell side liquidity here. I know that we have an SMT here with NQ, but is this enough? I don't think so. I know it's followed by displacement, clean rejection of the first presented fair value gap, clean rejection of 930, 830. Well, let's see if we will have some follow through here. But so far, I'm not trusting the market since we will have President Trump speaking at 11. So far, we have a nice barcode on ES. This one is quite good as a barcode. If you look into the 15 minutes, the 15 minute, we have only wicks on the upside and on the downside. So this might be the cleanest one that I've seen so far, the cleanest setup. It's not a breaker, but this displacement followed by this SMT followed by displacement kind of makes me wonder that we will go lower. Yeah, and the Dow heading lower as well. Let me just check here, because right now we already took out we will take out all this liquidity on the Dow. There we go. Yeah, this was the cleanest one here so far, but no model. No model was presented. So finally, we have sell side liquidity here taken out. We just need another push here to the downside just to take out lows, and then eventually, because we are entering the 1050 macro as well. There we go. And then eventually wait for some sort of a reversal, since we have buy side liquidity is still intact. And if you look into NQ is kind of holding right now. Let me check YM just to see if YM took out all that liquidity. Yes, it took out. So if we are still bullish, we might see some sort of a reversal right now. If not, the market will just keep plumbing, and yeah, there's nothing that we can do because there was no model here. I saw that this lag could eventually happen here because we had an SMT followed by displacement and a clean rejection of the first presented fair value gap. But my main bias is still bullish, and no buy side here was taken on ES. Yeah, and then Q is holding quite good. So London lows has been taken out. We have about 20 minutes before the Trump speech. So the question is, will we have more downside, or is this enough? Well, for a retrace, just a liquidity grab, minus 1.5 usually is kind of enough. So nice reaction here from London lows. So far, price is trying to invert this fair value gap. Still working inside of it. Let's see if we will have another leg to the downside, or if price will just start a run to the upside here. Yeah, so far price has not been able to close below the midpoint. So I assume this is a good reaction on price. Let's see if we can have a closure above this red candle here. That would mark an order block. There we go. Nice reaction here. But no opportunity to get in, honestly. Yeah, price is just moving straight to the upside. And back inside the range, so very hard price action to work with. Yeah, price just retested that fair value gap and nothing else. It's not a model, so for me it's nothing. So we are still back and forth here. I believe there's nothing more on the downside to explore since we already took London lows and that sell side that we were looking for on the regular trading session. But yeah, it's kind of hard to get into something whenever it's just a straight move to the upside. I needed to see some retrace or whatever just to get more comfortable to trade this. See, price came from the sell side directly to these relative equal highs without taking any sort of a retrace. So it gives us no opportunity to interact with. It's kind of a nasty behavior from ES, but it is what it is. Yeah, there's nothing we can do here. Let's see what the macro just brings us. but at this point, I don't think it will give us anything good. Haven't seen this price action, this hard price action for a long time now. So let's see if the first presented fair value gap will hold here and 930. At this point, if I want to be bullish, which I am on my main bias, it would be acceptable for price to come to equilibrium of this leg. I mean, but it would be more bullish if price just supports here at the first presented fair value gap, just to go for another run and reach for buy side liquidity here and midnight open as well. But in terms of stop placement, yeah, that would be very hard because it would have to be a large stop loss. Probably something like this. So imagine that you take a position here. Yeah, your stop loss should be very big here. So it makes no sense for me to get into this. Meanwhile, NQ is holding on the upside, but the Dow is kind of failing here as well. So mixed feelings here. A nice reaction from the first presented fair value gap here, especially the midpoint. See, this would mark a bullish sentiment here. And price goes directly above all these red candles. But as you can see, there is no form of entry right now. And price is placing once again lower. Yeah, this is really a no-no market. At this point, I'm starting to lose interest in today's session. Yeah, there's no follow through. It was just a push higher on ES. And NQ just took out the highs, these highs here. So Lourenço, então amigo, está tudo bem? Epá, em estado de observação só, porque isto realmente não está a fazer nada, né? Só observar mesmo. E enquanto isto continuar assim, também não tenho nada para poder entrar. Aliás, a única coisa que eu vi aqui foi de facto esta leg descendente aqui, para ir buscar Southside Liquidity e London Lows, que eu antecipei, e depois aqui eventualmente, mas isto para mim não é modelo, ter apenas a inversão o fair value gap. Portanto, só em observação até agora. E tu? Deste longo no Nasdaq. Boa. Boa. Pois o Nasdaq estava com. Estava com. Não é que estivesse com melhor aspecto, mas sim, ele já tinha tirado mais liquidez do que propriamente o IS. Portanto, estiveste muito bem. Agora aqui eu creio que haja continuação para o upside, mas de facto não sei. E acho que temos. Quer dizer, o Trump ia falar às 11, se não estou em erro. Entretanto, não sei se ele vai dizer alguma coisa ou não, mas de facto isto no IS foi um bocado feio durante toda a manhã. Vamos ver se agora na closing macro aparece alguma coisa. Depois ainda temos também London Highs e Asia Highs, portanto não entraria aqui de todo como long. Também temos aqui o NWOG no, no Yes. E depois há aqui muita confluência. Temos aqui também 25% da Daily Week anterior. Esta linha vermelha temos o Fair Value Gap de 4 horas também. Portanto, e depois no Yes temos aqui esta buy side liquidity que ainda não foi tirada, que é referente à regular trading session aqui. Portanto, é bem possível que ele possa fazer algo assim do género e depois continuar para baixo. Não sei, neste momento, dado isto, estou só a ver. Deixa-me espreitar aqui. É, para já. Mas não lhe fazia mal vir um bocadinho mais cá acima. É esta aqui. Aí seria perfeito. Aí seria mesmo perfeito. Ui, o que é que eu estou para aqui fazer? Vamos ver. So yeah, guys, let's see how price develops as soon as we hit London highs, eventually Asia highs, and this NWOG here as well. So NQ already took out that buy side liquidity. Let me just give here a glimpse on the Dow just to see what it's it's doing. Yeah, the Dow started strong here and was the strongest pair, but then it kind of never recovered from this down leg here. So we all are almost reaching that buy side liquidity on NQ as well. It's extended already. Epá, pois, mas aparece mesmo no calendário económico, se fores lá, se fores lá. Não é que seja um red folder, mas é um orange folder. Se abrires o Forex Factory, está lá às 11 da manhã. Foi por isso que eu também fiquei um bocadinho de pé atrás no que diz respeito às entradas antes das 11, estás a ver? Mas eu normalmente tenho cuidado com isso. Já me queimei muitas vezes a entrar antes das notícias. Aliás, a última vez que eu fiz isso acabei por levar com, agora esqueci-me do nome, com slippage. Acabei por levar com slippage. Um stop loss de cento e poucos euros ou cento e poucos dólares transformou-se em 400. Portanto, acho que para mim já serve de lição. Sim, mas cuidado com o calendário do TradingView. É tal e qual como aqui. Aqui na Topstep também não aparecia. Ahm, Como vês, não tem aqui nada às 11 da manhã. Não é que tenha feito alguma coisa, mas eu vou sempre ao Forex Factory normalmente. Acabo por ter lá a informação toda, pá, pronto. E aquilo está sempre atualizado e acho que é o mais fidedigno deles todos, sinceramente. O, o calendário do TradingView muitas das vezes não é tão atualizado quanto o Forex Factory. Se houver alguma coisa de última instância, eles não atualizam no TradingView. Eu já reparei nisso. So yeah, guys. So far, the macro just gave us the inversion that we were kind of anticipating and expecting. The problem was that the model was not presented here. This is just an inversion for a value gap for me. I needed to see some sort of a breaker or eventually a retrace here around these candles, and it never happened. So yeah, I kind of was left out here, but now I'm waiting for it to reach London highs, eventually Asia highs, and this buy side liquidity here just to see um, what price will do next. It kind of anticipated the macro, so the movement really started some minutes before the macro, but it was kind of clean. Honestly, it was kind of clean, but the model was not. presented. Ideally, I would like to see some sort of a unicorn model here, a breaker plus a fair value gap, but a breaker would be nice. An inversion of a fair value gap, it's not enough for me. That's why I did not interact with it. And here, I kind of anticipated the leg to the downside, reaching for sell side liquidity, but since the previous um, performance of ES was not that clean, I kind of decided to stay out. So midnight open. So far, we are rejecting midnight open here on ES, but honestly, I would like to see another leg to the upside, taking out London highs. Um, but it can eventually mark some sort of an SMT since NQ already took it. So SMT here, and we have some sort of a displacement as well. I mean, what am I? Just let me check once again because I think I'm wrong. Yeah, we took it on NQ. Mm. YM is behaving strangely. I'm new here, so welcome TMS. How you doing, guy, bro? So, what confluences do you trade? Oh goddamn! How should I how should I explain it to you? Well, I trade with a lot of confluences. I like to see London and Asia highs being taken, or eventually London lows. Um, I tend to use and compare the behavior between NQ and ES, and look for YM as well. But yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. There's a lot of confluences that I'll look for. But yeah, I invite you to be here and to observe what I'm doing, what I'm saying, because I tend to read price a lot, and I believe that you will eventually learn if you're new on ICT concepts. I think you will learn some things here. But welcome to the channel. Honestly, thank you for being here. So far, I'm waiting for price to go for London highs, Asia highs, and eventually taking out regular trading hour session buy side liquidity. But since NQ already done it, we might fall short, and midnight open is it's kind of enough. And so far, we have this small inversion here. So this is a inverted fair value gap. Price now displacing. As you can see, price kind of rejected the inverted fair value gap, but it's starting to drive through the first presented fair value gap as well. if we are expecting a move higher, the first presented fair value gap should act as support here, eventually 930 as well, and 830. But if not, then we will probably invert the first presented fair value gap as well. Yeah, but today is somehow a hard read on price. So you're still paper trading, right? Yeah, I really advise you to just take the next step to some sort of a combine or a real trading environment whenever you have your model tested and back tested and tested in real time, just like you're doing right now on paper trading. Don't try to force anything, and then don't try to speed up things because you need to gain confidence first. Price now stuck in between 930 open and 830 open, but looking good for a continuation lower, honestly. And in terms of time, we are past 11. So past 11, if everybody is making money here on these longs, usually past 11, those longs will be punished. So right now we are losing the first presented fair value gap. Price is trying to get below 830 open as well. Yeah, work on that confidence first and then hop on some combine. A cheap one, not a combine that will cost you $1,000 or something like that. Just a cheap one, just to just to put things in practice. So let's see if price will do another retrace here at the first presented fair value gap. That would be an interesting area to short, heading for some lower um heading for some lower liquidity or imbalance. I'm interested to see this 1 hour fair value gap on ES as well. Yeah, bro, I try to be here every day. Of course, there's some days that I can't because of real life things, you know. But yeah, I try to stream every day. Um, I usually just take the New York AM session, so I stream. The stream starts at 9:30 New York local time. or 9:20, 10 minutes before the open. But yeah, I try to do it every day. Yeah, so far losing here. The first presented fair value gap, 9:30 open and 8:30 open, and it's displacing lower, but no retrace into the area of interest that I was expecting it to retrace. Oh, and what about the Discord? Yeah, I don't use Discord. I don't have any groups or anything. I'm just streaming my trading sessions just to commit myself as well. I guess we all are learning in different stages, but we all are learning. So this is my commitment to myself to stream and to be here with some eyes on me, just to not mess things up as well. Because trading can be a lonely activity, and as a lonely activity, you can mess it up a lot of times. Just trying to get that dopamine fix of an opening trade. And whenever you're lonely, yeah, you can really do some crazy things. And yeah, I try to avoid that by being online and try to stream every day. Oops. Yeah, usually price action, you're not usually, but lately price action has been a lot clearer after 11 a.m. I can it's just like yesterday's price action. If you go to yesterday's price action, as soon as we hit 11 a.m., just like here, boom, see, from 9:30 to 11, price just did something just like yesterday, just like today's price action. But as soon as we hit 11 a.m., we start to deliver lower in a cleaner way. And I'm expecting the same for today's price action. And if you look to the past days, into the past days, you can see that price has been like that for quite a while. This is not the best example from the 26th, but if you search for it, you will definitely find that lately price has been clearer after 11. Of course, there's some days that you will get good deliveries. Here you have another example. So this is 9:30, and as soon as we hit 11, price just tumbles down. So it's been like this for the last couple of days. I don't know if it has to have anything to have with the fact that we swept some sort of liquidity. I think it's a time based behavior. Well, because usually after 11, Price tends to punish everybody who's making money, and whenever you have liquidity being generated in from 9:30 to 11 marks, it's like a macro. It's the closing macro of New York AM. 11 usually marks the start of something. So if you have, imagine that you have 9:30 here, 11 here, and price has been doing something like this. Whenever it hits 11, you will see that um, every long position will get punished here, and the same applies to whenever price is just generating liquidity. As soon as it hits 11, it will probably fall into some direction. ICT explains it in one of his videos, saying that the market makers will just initiate something at 11 whenever the retail just ends this trading session, which is about at 11. So retail ends it, but the market makers will kind of start it. Yeah, so far a nice move to the downside. So we have an order block here, which has been respected. And now it seems clear that price will drive to that 1 hour fair value gap that's still intact here. But honestly, on ES, it's kind of an ugly price action. I don't really like this price action whenever we have a back and forth action. If you look into the 15-minute, it's very ugly. So I'm honestly glad that I didn't take anything. I could have taken it in some sort of a trade, but on the other hand, I'm quite happy and content for not taking anything, because I believe a lot of people tried to engage with the market and got punished by it. So NQ loading, so NQ. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, on NQ we might have some sort of accumulation, manipulation, and eventually some distribution here to the downside. If you're bearish, I think that's really possible, because we still have this daily fair value gap here as well. Yeah, this is a good observation, Lorenz. It might take some time to develop, but it seems like it might happen. So let me take back to yes. Yes is probably doing the same, but not that clear. That clearly, yeah. Do you think market is gonna go to new record highs or sell lower? Well, statistically and in terms of probability, whenever you have a market that's moving in a one direction like this since April, it's just moving to the upside. statistically and in terms of probability, you should always consider a bullish bias, because all-time highs is one of the strongest draw on liquidity that you can find. So in terms of a long term, until a major structure shift happens, you should always consider all-time highs being your bias and being your drawn your ultimate drawn liquidity. But at this point, I believe in an intraday point, I believe we probably will eventually go a little bit lower. If you look into NQ, it kind of purged those relative equal highs on the 15 minutes. We formed an SMT in between ES and NQ. So yeah, I believe that we will head a little bit lower, but the main draw is still all-time highs. I don't know if I made myself understandable, but the bigger picture is still all-time highs, because there's no shift in a larger scale, in a larger picture. There is no shift in the market structure. So if I trade in inverted fair value gaps, not as a model, no, I do not tend to do it. My model is usually as a breaker, is a unicorn model. Breaker plus fair value gap. Whenever I have a solo inverted fair value gap, I just put them here just to see if price wants to retrace, or if it wants to go a little bit higher, but it doesn't trigger me any trades. And then everything depends on your bias. So right now, I'm kind of neutral, honestly. I can't see anything here. It's just the market gathering some liquidity. If you look here, you can see clearly that we are inside of which I call a megaphone pattern, where price does new highs and new lows every time. So this is a seek and destroy action for me. Of course, you can take some trades inside a seek and destroy, but I can see that if you are a turtle soup guy, which I'm not, then this is the paradise for a turtle soup guy, because every time a high or a low is taken, they will get in. But I'm not that guy. I don't play turtle soups. Breaker nos 5 minutos. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lorenzo is saying that I have a good breaker to short on the 5 minute, but I have another rule, which says that I am only allowed to trade inside a kill zone, inside the New York kill zone. I've been stretching it lately a little bit past 11, but I'm not that comfortable trading after 11, especially after 11:30, because at that time we are approaching the lunch hour, and I'm not used to trade lunch hour. That's why I'm not trying to get into anything right now, and I'm just accepting it. I think that's the best, because I've violated so many things that I just want to be disciplined and yeah, and accept things as they are. I'm not trying to force anything right now. But yeah, Lawrence, it was a nice observation, and thank you for it. And probably you're right, because we displaced right away, so we might lose this fair value gap, and it might probably um, transform into some sort of reclaimed fair value gap. So yeah. So yeah, guys, I think that's it for today's action. So it's been about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, for those who are not used to my streams, I usually tend to be here about 2 hours. Some some days I try to stretch it to 2.5 hours, but I believe if you're looking into charts and if you're reading price action on a minute time frame, I think that everything it's more than 2.5 hours or 3 hours, you're gonna get drained and you will start to see some things that you shouldn't see. Thank you, TMs. Thank you. Thank you, bro. I will see you tomorrow. Lawrence, TMs, I might speak some Portuguese as well, because I'm Portuguese and I have some Portuguese guys that follows me. Lourenço is one of them. So I might speak Portuguese, but I tend to translate it after, just to maintain my main language as active as possible here as well. Um, Lourenço, já pensei nisso também, pá. Mas há tanto grupo aí, há tanta coisa aí que um gajo às vezes até perde vontade, porque depois entra muita malta que não interessa também, estás a ver? Um, mas sim, pá. Aliás, eu até estou num, não sou eu a pessoa que gera o Discord, e somos apenas 4 gajos, acho eu. Um, mas sim, poderia pensar nisso. So I was saying that Larissa was inviting me to form some sort of a Discord group, but yeah, I tend to, I don't know, it's more energy that I have to spend on another social platform, and I don't know if I have that energy. And yeah, sometimes whenever you form those groups and you create those Discord groups, there's a lot of people coming in, and some guys don't even deserve to be there. So there's always a lot of people that tries to get something free from you. There's always that lazy guy trying to get some signals or whatever, and it's just wasting your time, and I have no time to waste, honestly. So as anticipated, this will form probably a reclaimed fair value gap, and price will um, most probably displace or gain some speed towards this fair value gap. But yeah, as I've said before, I will maintain myself disciplined and will not take this one here. I'm just observing. So guys, just let me ask you, Lorenzo and TMs. So for how long have you been trading? TMs said that he's a beginner. He's just working on his confidence. And Lorenzo. Yeah, I know, Lorenzo. I know. I just don't want to invest more time into something that I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. A lot of people already asked me the same. Um, but I believe that if someone is really interested in work together, we can all work together here. I guess in between Discord and YouTube, there's not a big difference. I mean, there's a lot of differences. You can post your charts. You can eventually do some analysis and everything like that. But I don't know. 3 years is a lot of time. 3 years into ICT, or 3 years as an old. Every day, all day, looking to these charts. Damn. Well, I used to have a toxic relationship with the charts. I used to be that guy, always looking into something. Um, and then I just had to put myself into some rules, and okay, you will just interact into this time window, and you will not search for things in the closing NYPM or closing or the open of the NYPM or Asia, or because yeah, I struggled a little bit just to keep myself into some form of a restricted time window, because I was all over the place. I was always looking into the charts, always looking for something, and at some point it was draining. Honestly, it was very draining, and that's why I committed myself to this YouTube channel and just to trade this one session. Of course, I believe at some point I will um, just like this, just like today. Okay, there's nothing that I want to work with. And I will peek, and I will try to take a look at the NYPM session, but I'm not doing this right now. If I don't have the opportunity here on NYAM, I will close the books, and tomorrow it's another day. I will not try to engage with something into New York PM or Asia session or London session or anything like that. Yeah, but 4 years into trading, 3 years ICT. I would say that you were very quick to find ICT, because I took a lot of time to find it. So yeah, guys, I think that's it for today's price action. There's nothing here that I'm interested in. So yeah, that's it for today. Guys, thank you for being there. Audience, TMs. Thank you for being there. I hope to see you tomorrow once again. And yeah, I think that's it for today's price action and for today's trading session. So no trades today, but I'm content. I'm like this with no trades, honestly, because he has just it kind of moved. It kind of moved. 16 handles for yes, it's a good move, but I'm fine, guys. I'm good like it is. So nice to have you guys here, and yeah, hope to see you tomorrow once again. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Be safe.